Hey, folks. Oh, I might have jumped the gun. I'm live everywhere but the Facebook group. Okay, now we're live in the Facebook group. And now I can say, hey, folks, we're live with Lunch with Mal. Can I do everyone? I can't do everyone comments in the live streaming part on Facebook. I got to go into the actual group. I can do that. And of course, our topic for everyone that we're talking about today is Facebook ads, which it's been a minute, because I've had a bunch of guests, but you're getting just me today, just Mallory. Although I don't see it in the group. Well, that's weird. Why is the video not showing up in the group? Facebook, where's my video? That's kind of weird. It shows the title in the group. It just doesn't show the actual video. This is really weird. Maybe you have to wait a minute. I'll be patient. But if you're anywhere other than Facebook, you're seeing this. Okay, you clicked in from the group? Okay, in the group, I just see a post, but without the actual video. It's kind of weird. Okay, there we go. I actually clicked the live now. Yay, okay, people are here, huzzah. I shall fret not. I was going to put my little post in. Hey, Peter Foot, you're on my page. I always stream to 4 places, so it's always kind of like, what exciting locales are we streaming to today? My video might freeze for just a second here as I'm copying and pasting some stuff. Okay. And hi, Emma and Delta. I hope you guys are both doing fantastic. And hello, everyone who is watching the replay. All you crazy kids who do that. It's nice to have you here. And again, I was saying it's kind of wild that that it's a solo Mal situation now, because it's not usually like that. It's usually, well, it is usually like that, but not lately. We had 3 guests in a row. There would have been a break, but I was at Oklahoma Writers Federation in, of all places, Oklahoma. So so that 1 week where you would have got just Mal, you had a guest there as well. But I really liked our guests. I thought we had some really good information these last few weeks. Talking about actually, there's been 4 guests. Oh my god, because we had Dana talking about her thing that she's running whalereader.com, where she'll actually look at your ads and look at your blurb and all your marketing and read your book from a reader perspective, and then give you that feedback, which I think is a valuable thing to have. And then we had Kate Hudson talking about author finances and whatnot. And I thought hers was really good because she's a CPA and she's actually done finances in a lot of states, so she was able to give a lot more specific guidance than I think you can usually get for people doing financial talks, because they're not operating as a CPA and they don't have cross-state experience maybe, so they're less likely to sort of give concrete actionable advice. And then we had Dana from Influence, who talked about special editions and the stuff they do with Kickstarter, and I am jonesing to do some of her special editions that she has. And then last week we had oh my god, the most recent one, and suddenly I forget her name. Oh, I feel terrible about this. But she was talking about TikTok, and I think there's some really good information in there as well. So if you look at last week's video on TikTok, we had that too. Hey, Amy. Oh my goodness, you watched a bunch of my back videos of people. Are you binge watching Mal? That feels like such a strange thing to have people do. But it is hot here today. I don't know if it's hot where you guys are, but it's hot here. It's 83 degrees out. Yesterday got up to 90. It was 93 in some places we were at yesterday, and today it's 82. But this room does not have air conditioning, hence the door being open. It will have air conditioning soon. I just haven't hooked it up yet, because it's I roll it in. It's on a little stand. But it's 82 in here right now too. So I'm and of course I so very wisely chose to wear latex today. So it breathes so well and keeps you nice and cool. You know how that be. Kate Hall. Well, Kate Hall was, oh yes, it was 2 Kates. You're right. Thank you, Emma. That's what I was thinking Kate, but I'm that can't be right, because it was Kate Hudson. I think it was Kate Was it not Kate Hudson? Did I get the person who did the finances stuff wrong? Well, I'm doing my best here. Anyway, hi Vicky from England. Yeah, I heard someone mention that it's rainy and unpleasant in the UK today. Although it's small enough that it could probably be it probably gets roughly the same weather across the entire country most of the time, right? Um, 52 in Seattle. Yeah, that's very different to us. Ashley was the finances. Okay, wow. Apparently, I need to keep a list so I don't make myself look dumb. So, but anyway, like I said, there's been a lot going on with Facebook ads lately. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how they just don't work now. Um, some people saying I don't see that problem at all, and some people seeing it a lot. Um, for example, for those of you who keep up on these things, Matt Holmes, who for some time has taught a course um, on Facebook ads. I think he has courses, and I think he does consulting. Don't quote me on that. I'm not super up on his offerings. But his main premise has been doing the ultra wide targeting, where you just target everybody and let Facebook figure it out. Steve Higgs also teaches the same method. But Matt Holmes is pulling his books off Shopify, or his wife's books, I should say, off Shopify, and putting them back into KU because he can't get the Facebook ads to reliably target for him right now. And he mentioned he has to start doing things with his audiences to make his ads target. And I've maintained this entire time that you're almost always, not always, almost always better off specifying your audience and not doing ultra wide targeting. Although I think both systems can work, there's just reasons why both systems work. But then on top of that, like Facebook ads have been in the news a lot. Like Forbes talked about them. Someone mentioned yesterday in a call that they saw people on CNBC talking about them. I guess it's some sort of guy that like is pretty big and he has a nationwide thing, and people take his stock advice a lot. And then also even like I watch like random like tech YouTubers who talk about just random technology things, and even they mention that Facebook ads are not doing well, and a lot of people are having problems with them. So it's rare that you start to see. Okay, yep, that's what we're doing, Chris. So, and so did I have everything right, Vicky? I read his newsletter thing that he sent out, but that's kind of all the information I have for what exactly Matt's doing. But that's what he said he's doing his newsletters, putting everything back into KU and stopping Shopify. I'm guessing he's going to keep running Facebook ads and just have to figure out how to make them work for KU, which I wish him all the luck in because I want to see everybody succeed. Not all the luck. I don't like these words. I wish him. I like to say fortune instead of luck. Like if someone says you're lucky, I'll be like, I was fortunate. I really believe that in many cases, what people say is luck is just someone actually recognizing when a door opens and stepping through it, rather than saying, I wish a door would open for me when there's open doors around them. Like it's being ready for opportunity is what we need to be. But in Matt's case, I wish him best of fortune in getting his ads to work well and his sales up on KU, because I want to see every author succeed. Awesome. Thanks, Vicky. So things have been afoot in Facebook land. There's been a couple of dates that I've seen where things have markedly changed. The first one was sort of like a range. It was between April 16th and April 20th. I saw a lot of ads start to do squirrely things. They were ads that were working were stopping working, just like that, and ads that weren't working very well, because I don't run any ads that are clearly not working, but ads that are kind of like on the fence or we're trying to figure out how to make them work, they suddenly just started working. And then an even bigger change happened on May 4th, where I saw a change like that again. And that's when I started seeing a lot of people saying, like, I don't know what's wrong with ads, nothing's working, the sky is falling. The funny thing is, because I'm working on average, I'm looking at 30, 40 clients a week. If I'm doing a big review week, I'll get into that many. Most weeks I'm only looking at about 20 clients myself. But I saw a lot of people who, like May 4th, things just fell, or things started working really well on May 4th. And then I've seen it again now in the last, I want to say 4 or 5 days. I've seen another change, kind of like what happened around April 16th to April 20th, where a lot of ads kind of went squirrely. I agree, by the way, Delta said the ability to pivot in this business is key. And that's super true. what worked last time is not going to be a thing that works this time, or maybe it is, but you don't know, right? Until you try it, until you look at what's working, what's not, and have a couple of options at your disposal, things that you've investigated, things that you know you can do to try and work and do those different things. Do you go TikTok store? Do you double down on print like some people are and actually seeing some success there? Do you go back into KU and try to ride the ebook wave as hard as you can? All sorts of different options and ways of doing this that we can investigate. But talking a little bit more about Facebook, and then so the thing I discovered though is like, even though a lot of people are saying like it stopped working, everything's broken, I saw these other people for whom things started working even better than before. And so what that tells me is that Facebook is scrambling. That's my read right now. At the end of January, they really shifted how they do targeting behind the scenes to be doing a lot of AI-driven targeting. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at some stuff. Let's see, Ads Manager. Just want to get the right thing up. I had a bunch of windows ready, and I didn't have the window for the very first thing I want to talk about ready. All right, present, share screen. Here we are, share. All right, so I'm gonna move my head down here. So we can make things bigger. All right, so in here, this is the ad set tab. Ad set tab is where you set your audience. You set your spend, and you set where the ad shows. So the who, the where, and the how much. And this particular ad is for a leads campaign, but the audience section is the same. So one of the things that changed is this advantage detailed targeting has been applied situation here. This used to be a checkbox. And basically what this means is that if Facebook thinks that they can get better people clicking for you, they'll ignore all of this, and they'll go outside of these interests that you've set and try to find more people. So this was the biggest change to my mind, because what this change means is you just can't get out of it. At some level, their advantage detailed targeting system, which is AI powered, and has been for some time, but was like less aggressively AI powered in the past, and is much more aggressively AI powered. They started actually using AI to do a lot of this stuff back during the pandemic. But they made a big change in January, and I think it was premature. And I think we're seeing the results of that. So that's the one thing they did. But the other thing that they did is Advantage Plus our audience. So there's two levels. There's your Advantage Plus for your entire audience, and then there's Advantage Detailed targeting. There's sort of like two levels. One's whole audience, one's just detailed targeting. If we switch to Advantage Audience, what we see is we get these two boxes, and I'm sure many of you have seen these two boxes before. And really all you can do in here is you can set your country, and you can set your minimum age. And the highest minimum age you can set is 25. And if you're running ads, say you're running contemporary thriller or you're running romance, and you are like, well, actually, let's talk about that. You're running contemporary thriller or romance, you could theoretically use this and either put these things in or even just leave all of this blank. Just run your ads to everybody 25 and up. You're going to probably have this will probably work a bit better if you use Reels, in my experience, because they're a little more. They're going to show to younger people, and they tend to be younger people in certain, like Reels, I feel like, are a little more demographic specific. Whereas if you use images, you're kind of going to catch everyone. So I feel like this can work a bit better for Reels. But either way, it can work if you're in like super popular genres that have a really wide readership. And actually, thrillers are some of the best because men and women read thrillers. Contemporary romance, of course, is primarily like 90 some odd % women only. But this kind of targeting can work. Like, for example, one in two women in the United States read romance. So like you can throw a dart at the wall, you know what? That metaphor wasn't going to work with people being what you're hitting. Anyway, very strong chance your ads are going to show to a woman. And then if you make and a woman who reads romance. And if you made your creative really good, it would get better. But back in January, Facebook would actually show a lot of romance ads to more men than women. And the reason why was that their AI wasn't really that good at reading the ad and figuring out what the ad was about. This seems to have improved. I'm seeing it now, and it depends on what your content is. If you got a hot woman for your contemporary romance ad image, you're probably still going to get a lot of men. But if you're kind of doing more of a male focused one, or using like more like non-person imagery, chances are it'll actually show quite a bit to women, and in some cases even like 85% to women, which is a pretty good improvement over where it was in January. But if you think about it, it's like spending 15% of your budget on people that will not buy is kind of silly. But so this was the one change, and then the other change was always having advantage detailed targeting on. And like I said, everything in this box can and will be ignored, aggressively ignored. And the big difference really between the original audience style and the new audience, this new audience style, is that the age and genders are in the probably ignored category in this new system. Whereas if we were to revert back to original audience options, it is nice that the settings stick, by the way, when you do this. If we revert back to original audience options, they're in the we will absolutely listen to this section. And then the advanced detailed targeting stuff down here is we will probably ignore this section. All right, traffic campaigns are for clicks to advanced settings show are as people who might click it up. Yes, that is very true, Mickey. The objective of the ad matters a lot. So when you're making an ad, we've got these different objectives that you choose. And the objective is how Facebook measures whether or not it showed the ad to the right person. And so if you're sending the ads to a retailer like Amazon, you run traffic ads. And Facebook, as far as they're concerned, their obligation ends at the click, because that's the objective. They got the click. They're sending traffic somewhere. And so for them, the click is actually the conversion event. And so they will optimize for more conversions. So they'll optimize for more clicks. I think you might have been responding to the part about hot women on romance ads, because Facebook sees the men clicking on these hot women, thinks they did a good job, shows it to more men. And so the interesting thing, though, and this is sort of like, I'm actually one of these, I might reach out to Matt Holmes and kind of talk to him about this, about his experiences. But theoretically, if you're running a conversion event on your own website, that is the conversion event you want, aka a sale on your Shopify website, and you do like a sales campaign, Facebook will be like, oh, I optimize for people who buy. So there's a lot of traffic going to Shopify, and then when people buy, they will optimize for buyers. And theoretically, this is the scenario where wide targeting works better, because Facebook, will to a large extent ignore sort of who's clicking and pay a lot more attention to who's buying. So you can do that ultra wide targeting. And if this is like none of the guys that clicked on this ad ever bought, I'm going to start showing it to women. The self-selection system should work better. So it's really quite interesting that Matt has found that does not work for him anymore, because this is the scenario where it works best. It kind of stopped working for him. Why wouldn't you click sales? You can only click sales if you actually can track the conversion event. So it has to be a website where you have the Facebook pixel running, and you can't run the Facebook pixel on Amazon. So if you use a sales ad and send people to Amazon, Facebook wouldn't get any data back from Amazon and would assume that no one ever purchased, and it would have no idea how to optimize your ad. And what it would do is it would keep showing your ad to anyone it could possibly come up with, trying to find people that are likely to buy. So you would never get a stable audience out of doing that. Whereas if you were doing a traffic ad to Amazon and you had some really honed creative, that you were like, you know what, I'm doing a book flip reel with a super sappy romantic hook on it, like the text being called a hook. Chances are dudes aren't going to click on that, or if they do click on that, they're men who read romance. So the creative itself would self-filter and capture the right people, and then traffic would be fine, and your audience would stabilize, because Facebook would start to get an idea of who to show that ad to, and sort of keep showing it to a consistent audience. And if that ad is converting, it would theoretically continue to convert. And that's how ads used to work before this year. That if you had an ad that was like creative was well honed, and you had gone in and you'd given Facebook like a good place to start with your interests, and this and didn't turn on advantage detailed targeting, it would only show it to people who had that interest, and it would optimize for people who clicked. But now it can go off the rails, and it can go off the rails for reasons that no one really yet understands. And because AIs are super complicated, the people who make AIs don't actually understand how they work as well. So when they're going off the rails, these people are trying to analyze what the AI is doing and then try to correct it in some fashion to make it behave the way it should. And that's why I think they jumped the gun. I think the AI wasn't mature enough yet to understand how to actually do the targeting to get everything to work properly. Hey Chad, how are you doing? I think you were on YouTube and Facebook there. So that's one of the reasons why things went sideways. But I really do feel like because Facebook is getting a lot of bad press right now, I feel like they're scrambling. That's why we've seen an April 20th sea change, a May 4th sea change, and then again around May 15th, another sea change in ads that like mass shifts of ads that were working, stopping working, and ads that weren't really working, suddenly starting to work. And the only thing that makes sense is that Facebook is doing something under the covers that we can't see. So that's one of the things that's been happening, and it's the biggest one, and it's been making Facebook ads a lot more variable. Because it used to be in the past, if you got an ad that was working well and you had a good audience and the audience was big, like we're talking, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even more, maybe 10 million people in certain genres, and your creative was good, that ad could run forever and be fine. But that just and you could hardly have to look at it, and it would just sort of keep working. I had ads back in the day that I ran for like 3-4 years, and they just kept working. And now the idea of a 3-4 month ad almost feels a little fantastical. So you can have ads. Don't get me wrong. I have clients right now with ads that have been running since the January change and have been working, but they took maintenance. So we had to tweak them. We had to be just fiddling with it a little bit here and there, keeping a close eye on them. And it's like a minority of ads that survive that long. Well, it's good to hear, Chad. I'm glad you're feeling better. But it's not the norm anymore, and it's frustrating. I do get it. It's making Facebook a little bit less of a Facebook has never been fully a set it and forget it thing, but there was sort of like the hope that if you did things really well and you really knew your shit, you could get set it and not think about it very much. But now it's like I'm telling people, like, you need to check your ads pretty thoroughly once or twice a week, depending on how many you're running and how much spend you have going on. That is awesome, Vicky, that you're getting a good ROAS, return on ad spend is what ROAS means, ROAS. And that's the tricky thing you mentioned. I just can't scale. And it's because when you change your spend too much, Facebook's monkeying with the audience. So you can have ads that are working beautifully and you scale them and they just flatline. And it's really frustrating. So I totally get how you feel about that. And so I was kind of despairing, right? Because I'm like, well, these corporations are just completely, I'm going to temporarily turn that off. These corporations are just completely in the AI tank right now. I think AI it's a bit of it's a buzzy thing right now, and I think it's actually going to die out. I feel weird making a prognostication about it. I think it's gonna move out of some industries that it's currently in. People are going to realize that the way that AI works with sort of probability curves and vector maps is not as optimal for situations that they thought it was, and that from a cost perspective, building these big complex AI powered systems that then require these AI specialists to even like analyze and interpret what the AI is doing to then make a change and hope it works is not going to be cost effective in some scenarios. But I worry that it's one of those things that everybody's sunk so much money into that they're going to suffer from the sunk cost fallacy, and they're just going to keep plowing ahead, even if it's hurting their bottom line. And it is hurting Facebook's bottom line right now. There are big advertisers that are not spending as much money with Facebook ads right now because they can't get the returns that they expect to get. And so part of me is like, well, what if Zuck is stubborn and Zuck's just like, I'm going to keep doing this because I wanna, And I feel like that's a real fear. Like the suits can be like, well, I want to. We've done this. We put this money into it. I want to keep doing it. And I'm stubborn, and AI is the future. So, na 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 boo boo. Um, but someone mentioned just the other day, an author in our mastermind group. She was like, well, what all that has to happen is for someone to start saying that this is losing them money because big clients are spending less, and that will affect the stock, and because these people really need the stock to be high for their own personal wealth, and how they leverage their personal wealth, they will make the changes necessary to keep their stock high, which is why it feels like Facebook's scrambling right now, right? They're in the, we need to make AI work because we spent all this money and we can't have our stock go down because advertisers are pulling out. But I do feel like advertisers pulling out will affect the stock, and that will cause them to do whatever they need to do to make the advertisers happy. So I'm relatively um, assured that they will figure this out one way or another. And to be honest, if they get the AIs working so that the AI can read my ad text and figure out exactly who to show my ad to and do it well and find people who will convert, I'm all for it, right? Like, make my job easier, please. I'd love that, but don't be shitty, and do a bad job at it and then leave me trying to diagnose why ads aren't working that should be working. It's really frustrating. Do you duplicate the ad that goes off the rails and start over? I have one that tripled the CPC in a week and it was worked amazing before. Generally, I don't duplicate it because I'm afraid that whatever bogus stuff Facebook learned from that ad, it will apply to the duplicate. Like, however it messed up the audience to get that terrible CPC or whatever, I'm afraid that will carry over. So what I do is I make it from scratch. I'll just make the same ad over again from scratch. Although it's not a guarantee it's going to work again, but it's the one thing that seems to have the best result. Only Facebook ad I'm doing right now is for my newsletter, and that's a good one, right? Because you I'm assuming you have the conversion event set up over on BookFunnel, and you're using a lead style ad, and so Facebook can optimize for conversions, and that's awesome. Those I have a client right now where we're getting 25 cents per lead for her reader magnet, and on a $15 a day ad spend, she's built her mailing list up by like over 1,500 people in the span of a month, which is awesome. You definitely can duplicate and tweak what isn't working, but there are some cases where it really feels like an ad just goes completely off the rails, and those are the ones I'll recreate from scratch. Yeah. So if it's like one where you're like you want to make some small tweaks, you're like, I'm going to remove this thing from the audience and see if it works better, or remove like a couple of images and see if it works better. Yes, I'll duplicate for that. But if the ad is just like done, then I'll recreate from scratch. Like if it's like every now and then, like if you're using attribution, you'll see like the reads line all fine, and then it will just fall off a cliff and flatline. Those ones I'm like, Facebook is now showing this ad to bots or something like that, and those are the ones I'll recreate from scratch. Facebook thinks you're interested in lingerie online, Chad. Yeah, I'm not surprised because most of the so Chad says on my profile one, you might not be seeing this. Most of the ads I get at Facebook on home are women's lingerie. That's very much not PG rated. I've never searched for lingerie online. I'm not sure if Facebook thinks I'm interested in it. So clearly Facebook's screwing this up on both ends, right? Well, I guess it's the same thing, right? Like it has no idea who to show ads to right now, who should be seeing what ad, which is why I'm all about giving it as much as I can, not doing the new. Oops, I just changed Windows to show you something. I forgot I didn't have it on my screen right now. I'm all about putting in this targeting, because even if Facebook eventually ignores these target items I'm putting in here, at the very least, it starts with them. And I'm a little bit more likely for Facebook to start by showing my ad to at least people who have some of these interests. And then if enough of them will react, that Facebook will hopefully just sort of stay there rather than them starting with everyone and then trying to narrow down. It can work. It's just more expensive to start with everyone and then try to narrow it down. Find the subject from your ad or the long term. My personal feeling, by the way, is that they're not as good as pure organic, like people clicking on the back of your book, but they're better than like a group sale, group anthology, multi-author swap or something like that. Now I want to try select interest rate. It won't let me switch off one of the advantage thingies. Yeah, that's the thing, is it won't let you turn off this advantage detailed targeting has been applied thing. Now that being said, let me find one. I just want to make sure I don't like wander off into someone else's account here. Like, find an old ad And look at this. Oh, never mind. What if I remove all unused options? There we go. So look at this. This is an old ad from back in the days of yore. No advantage targeting. It's not in here. You could go take some of your old ads, change the audiences up, or keep the audiences, and just do all new creative on top of it. You don't have to go and make new ad sets all the time. You could go repurpose some really old ones and not have any of that advantage targeting. I've done it a few times now, and I've actually found that the ads are more stable. I suspect there's still some level of shenanigans always going on in the background with their new stuff now, but it's definitely an option that you could go and do that. So that's something that you could do. Another thing that you might have on your account but you might not know about is automatic adjustments. Automatic adjustments are new, and I've encountered a couple people who swear to me on a stack of religious documents of their choosing that they did not, or non-religious documents of their choosing, that they did not turn this on, and it was on their accounts. And so what this does is it will switch ads to campaign budget management and change all your budgets on you. It will turn off ad sets. It turns on ad sets that you had turned off. It will change your format and turn on enhancements. It will change your audience. It will change placements. It will adjust your spend and the schedule of those spend, and it will do all of this automatically just by having that little switch turned on. And I encountered a couple of people's accounts where things had gone sideways, and I dug in, and this appears to have gone on for a bunch of people around May 8th or so. And sure enough, this was turned on, and it was in there monkeying with their ads. So the way you get to this to see if yours is turned on or not is when you're in your ads, click the all tools thing over on the left, which will just be 3 lines until you mouse over it. And then you go you scroll down a bit. It'll look like that. Scroll down a bit and choose automated rules, which will take you to this page. Make sure you don't have any automated rules turned on. There are like no good automated rules as far as I'm concerned. Unless you are flush with cash and don't care if an ad goes sideways for a couple of weeks and spends a bunch of money that you don't want to spend. I would not have automated rules turned on. But then they're also like, hey, rules for recommendations are now automatic adjustments. They're like, hey, we got a new thing. It's this little gray button up here. You'd never notice. And if you click that gray button, then you'll pop over here and you can see if automatic adjustments are on. So I don't know for how many people are being affected by this. I don't know if what you might have seen is caused by this, but I feel like it's a good thing to check and to make sure that you're not being hit by that. Yeah, Vicky, I'd love to hear, by the way, what kind of results you have from that, because I haven't done a ton of testing with old ads yet, but what I've done so far is promising. So thus far, that's awesome, Yasmin. I'm glad you're doing that, and yeah, I really do feel like reader magnets are some of the best ads you can run, because once you have someone's email address, you can now market to them for almost nothing versus paying. I mean, even if you pay, like even if you run an ad and they click on it right away and then they go and do the thing you want, they go buy, chances are you're paying, at best 10 cents to get them to click it. But then of course there's all the other people who didn't click, so you're going to spend a bunch of money getting them to click and buy. But if you have their email address, you can email them for a year for like a penny, so it's much better to get people on your list. So I'm very much in favor of that. So those are kind of my thoughts on Facebook right now. I'm less happy with them than I have been in a long time. Actually, no, I want to show you guys one more thing. But yeah, in general, Facebook has made me very sad with how they're operating right now. I just don't understand why they're going so whole hog on a lot of this AI stuff that is not working that well. I'm looking for an ad. I'll just make a new campaign. Just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's leg. And I'll reshare. Okay. Oops. So this is a new traffic ad. So of course you guys know I like dynamic creative. I think it's pretty awesome. and I've talked about my reasons for it. The so if you have dynamic creative turned on, and you go into you go make your actual ad here, and you start typing something awesome. I'll just grab a random link here. Amazon. Let's see. Here's a book. Put this book in this ad, and this should use their AI now. Should suggest some text. Oh, I'll need an image. I'll pick these images. Ta-da! Okay. Oh, it's not suggesting text. How dare you? A lot of times when you put in just a link, it will start to suggest text now. Okay, there we go. So now it's doing all the AI things and choosing text. If you actually pick one of these items and choose it, where'd your images go? They're gone, right? Images are gone. Your call to action button goes away. And the link is gone. These AI text suggestions break dynamic creative ads. So the only way to fix this thing, once you do this, once you click on one of these dumb text options here, is you have to go back in, turn off dynamic creative, and then turn it back on, and then go to the ad set. And now one of your images will be here because you flipped it to non-dynamic creative, and then everything is set up properly again. And the button is back with an actual button in. So this is another example of how I'm just like, come on, Facebook, your AI shit is not ready yet, because this literally breaks dynamic creative ads, which are the ones you push the most. The other wild thing is if you go and take this text option right here and you paste it in here, it detects that you pasted in a text option that they had suggested and takes it out and then just checks it off down here. So even if you're like, oh, well, Mel, I like what they wrote, I'll be savvy, I won't check it off, I'll just copy and paste it, you'll also break your ad and have to flip it back and fix it. So you have to like copy it into something else, change something in it so it's different, and then paste it in, which is super obnoxious. So that's awesome, Morgana. I hope that works for you too. Yes, they exactly rolled out way too quickly. I completely agree, and with not nearly enough testing. So another interesting thing is like you're like, well, Mal, I think dynamic creative is dumb, and I never use it anyway. So I don't care. And if you do that, then it works. And your link. Okay, my link. Oh, here's my link now. It might have actually been there before. Maybe I didn't scroll far enough. But I still my button. My call to action didn't turn to none. No, I'm certain it was gone before. But anyway, all that jazz is back. But the interesting thing is it's basically doing dynamic creative anyway by default now. It's everything that dynamic creative does, but only with one image. So I'm just kind of like, then go ahead and run dynamic creative and run multiple images in a test. Like but then like shit doesn't work. So it's like almost like I don't know what to tell you what to do. Do what feels good. Just work. Really, what this means, what all this means, you're like, okay, Mal, you've given us all this like bad news and you've bitched about Facebook for 40 minutes now. What this really means is you need to really think even harder about how well your creative itself, the images and the text that you're using in your ad, are conveying all of the right genre and trope signals, because we really can't trust Facebook to be doing things that are smart anymore. It's just not like it used to be where they would do that stuff. So, and you could, by the way, you can go and turn all these enhancements off, like the visual touch-ups, the expand image templates, the 3D animations, all that sort of thing. You can go and turn those off if you don't want them messing with it. And if you're not going to do dynamic creative, I would do that. In fact, dynamic creative, ironically, doesn't do a bunch of that stuff. It's kind of funny how that works. So anyway, this really comes down to really honing your creative and doing a good job there. Now I'm going to show you guys just ever so briefly client account. So I just want to show something that I think we need to be thinking about now if you're doing video ads. And if you're going to be doing video ads, it should be you're going to show to younger audiences. So, and you really want to put a lot of effort into video ads. You really want to make sure that like your creative, your copy, and even like your book cover and blurb is going to appeal to an audience of people under 45. That's where most of your video ads are going to show to. Let's see. Just want to quickly find. Ooh, there's thunder. Okay, so Lisa Swallow is fabulous, and I'm going to quickly show something I did for her. I've actually been finding, by the way, lately that release ads do work well. If you've got an audience of readers and you've got like a long series, running like a 2-week release ad for a new book can be good, but keep it very close, and you'll actually see like crazy reads that you'll be getting from that ad. But do keep a close eye on it, because they will hit a point where that return on that ad will start to drop, and it's usually like around 2 to 4 weeks. So keep an eye on that. But so if you are running reels, I am recommending that you actually don't do dynamic creative and that you do standard creative. And this is another reason why Facebook is on my shit list right now. It used to be that if you put up a reel, Facebook wouldn't crop it terribly. It would generally show the reel in places where the reel would look good, and it would do things like it would just shrink it a bunch. But now it crops it so that if you've done a reel, and this is actually not what this will look like. This preview is actually wrong. But if you've got a reel, it will look like this, in some places, or it could like be on an Instagram spot like that and be cropped so you would just like see her nose and lips and you wouldn't see the texture of the book. So I am recommending doing standard creative, because when you do standard creative, you can do. Oh, I actually did this one wrong. I think I did this one as dynamic creative. Oh shoot, I did. I have to fix this. Good thing I haven't had this when running for that long. Well, anyway, if you do it as standard creative, actually no, this was an experiment. That's right. I was experimenting with Facebook and they failed me. I was kind of like, if I give Facebook all the correct ratios, will they actually show them in the right spot? And then I went and looked at where it's been showing, and they're not showing in the right spot. They're showing the wrong sizes in the wrong places. But if you do standard creative, you can actually be specific and put the right sizes into the right places. So that's what I recommend you do. Don't do this because Facebook still doesn't do it right. And that's another thing that changed. They used to be way better about only showing creative in places where that creative would look good. And now they're not doing that anymore. So I don't like DTC. Yeah, Vicky, I'm less happy with dynamic creative than I used to be, because it like, I swear, like after pandemic, it made really good choices and everything it did was logical. And then they started putting more AI into it, and it started doing illogical things. And so that's why. And so a lot of the new stuff I do now, like I'm saying, like if you can appeal to a younger audience, use reels, because the cost per clicks are way lower, and you can get good conversions, and you can have more control over and I'll be telling you to run standard creative anyway, and you'll be having more control over things. Let me actually quickly bring up a different one that will have all of these in the right place. I just need to find out which it was. I'll go look in Canva, because then I can see my projects and see which ones I made. There we are. Hold, please. Dun, dun, dun. Let's bring up a quick example of what that would look like for anyone who's never done this before. Right, so here we are. So it looks like this. So kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. And if you choose edit media, is this the button? Change video? No. This is not it. Oh yeah, this is what, yeah, so you can do this for each one. But no, I want to, there's a spot when you first put these in where you can actually edit them and change them. I'll just do it again from scratch. That actually might be an issue. You actually can't change this once you do it. All right, do this. Next, here we are. So when you're putting up the video, you can see how it's going to look. And so it's pretty smart. Like you can say like, okay, make it look like this in these placements, and these placements where it wants a square, you can tell it to crop it automatically, or you can upload an original. And here it's like, hey, we can make it look like this, but we're probably going to crop it and make it look like that, which is kind of terrible. So you can say replace, and then you can actually have a video that's the exact right ratio, that you've gone and cropped and whatnot to fit like it should. So that's one of the other reasons why I'm liking to standard creative, because Facebook's automatic stuff has gone sideways and is dumb, which makes me really sad because it was supposed to make life easier, not harder. So that's my thought there. If you use Canva, by the way, it's pretty neat. If you start out with a video, nope, that's not the one I want to start out with. I want to start out with this one. There we are. If you have a video and you get it all set up so it all looks good and everything in Canva, you can choose resize and magic switch, and then you can actually go and search for different sizes and check them off. So mainly I do a square Facebook video and I just do regular video, and then you hit continue and it will actually make the other sizes, and it gets you about 50% of the way there. It saves you some time, and it's actually kind of handy. Some of them I've actually had to get me about 90% of the way there. I just had to make a few tweaks, like on the final screen, where instead I'll no, that's not the one. Here we are. Like on the final screen where maybe I'll lay things out horizontally or something like that. So totally a pretty cool tool to use for that as well. All right. I said each placement manually. It's a pain. Yeah, you're right, Larry. It is a pain, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. But here we are. It's the world we live in. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. My bitch fest about Facebook. But again, it's like they're monkeying with stuff behind the scenes. One of the difficult things too is that sometimes you can't trust Amazon's reporting to be up to date either. So if you see things dip, sometimes you're like, okay, I saw things dip and I changed things and things got worse. Or sometimes you're like, I saw things dip and I did nothing and then they got better on their own. Or I saw things dip and I did nothing and they didn't get better. Like, it can be really hard to tell if the dips you're seeing in KDP and in attribution are real or not. So it makes it so you can't see if Facebook is screwing things up. You can't tell if Facebook's the problem until about 3 or 4 days after the problem starts to show up, which is frustrating. So I totally get it. People are frustrated. It is becoming much more of a hands-on, high focus event than it used to be, which is frustrating. I'm optimistic that they're going to make this stuff better, because they are getting noise from people who spend millions of dollars with them. They're getting unfavorable feedback from those people, and because it's hitting the news, it could start to affect their stock. So that could start to cause them to get their ass in gear as well. But I don't know that's going to change overnight or anything like that. So so that's part of why I actually have had some people on talking about other things, because I feel like we need to start thinking like, how can we might need to be a little bit less reliant on Facebook going forward. And that's not true for everybody. There's certain genres where things can work really well, but there's some genres and whatnot where just like, you know what, I need to start like examining what other ways I can market and sell things. People doing TikTok shops. Hulu keeps messaging me about how I can run ads on Hulu, and I looked at their platform and like, this actually is pretty good and pretty competitive. So I'm going to be taking some wide angle ads I've been making and touch them up a little bit and be seeing about running them as Hulu ads or YouTube ads there. And that's on my docket for next week. I've been talking about the YouTube side thing for a while, but I guess I had to reach a certain frustration point to actually dig into it. So I'm gonna be doing that. And then also next week, Jill's gonna start firing up a TikTok shop for my books, because I really feel like TikTok shops have reached the point where I'm becoming stupid for not doing anything with them. I have, even if I just wanted to clear out the inventory in the attic kind of thing, like I should fire up a TikTok shop and get some books moving. So there you go. It looks like we have no new questions that came in anywhere. Chad says in one of the chats, have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? Right? Can we do that? Can we have Facebook just try turning it off and turning it back on again? See if that will fix it. I think that's some awesome advice. So, oh yes. So despite my kvetching, I don't think Facebook's dead, and I think we can work with it. I just think it's a little bit harder, and it's a little bit it's a volatile beast right now. Um, but I want to help people as much as I can. So we are doing another free 5-day Facebook ad challenge on June 10th. So it'll be 5 days showing people how to create ads. I'm going to be talking a lot more about creative this time around because I feel like it's more important than it's ever been. And get all that, get people at least like up to speed with some of the changes, the new things to look out for, because there there are more pitfalls in Facebook advertising too. There's more hidden traps. There's more sinkholes than there ever used to be before. So how to avoid all of those problems? Get ads that are at least going to be like good, decent ads, and then talk a lot about how to measure those ads, determine if they're working well as well. So that'll be the free 5-day Facebook challenge. It'll be on June 10th, and this is when it'll start. And then it'll go for that week, and then there'll be a follow-up on the 21st where we will have a live, and people can like submit things of how their ads have worked over the prior week and questions and stuff like that, and we can get into all of that as well. So do I have the dates right for that? June 10th. Oh no, our follow-up will not be on the 21st because I'm going to be at LibertyCon, but it will be afterward. We'll have a follow-up about it might actually be the following week, so like maybe the 26th. We'll have a follow-up. That actually might be better because I feel like it takes a little bit longer these days for ads to find out if an ad's working or not. So it'll probably be around the 26th that we'll have a follow-up talking about what's worked, what's not worked, problems people have run into with their ads that they've been running, and get all that going on. Do we have a sign up for that? I believe we do. I'm not sure if Jill's still around or not. But keep an eye on the site, on the group here. There might even be a post in the group right now already about it. Let's see. What we generally do is we actually fire up a group, a separate group for it, and then you can go to that group, and just by being in that group, you're a part of the challenge. Members, August sale. No, there's no post about it yet. I guess there are several posts. Okay, I guess I'm just not seeing them. I'm kind of scrolling quickly, but yeah, we'll be talking a lot about it, and there will be a group that will bring back out, and that's where the challenge will happen. So all you have to do is just join the group to get into it, and it will start, like I said, on the 10th, and it will start with a live from me as well. So I think it'll be live. If not live, it'll be something I recorded like the day before. So it'll be one of those two things. All right. It gets posted on Mondays. Okay. Oh, look at Jill's got the link in there and everything. Jill rocks. I'm glad she's here. I was prepared for everything. I asked her the dates and everything like that, and then I forgot the most important part, which is the more information thing. All right. It is not bad to say I look fashionable today, Cytheros. I do look fashionable today. Yes, Alex, Facebook is it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare in the way that like a drug doing teenager. I guess that's a nightmare. Never mind. Yeah. I was like, it's like a toddler. I'm like, no, it's worse than a toddler. It's spending your money. So I guess, yeah, apply whatever adjective you will. It's trouble though, that's for sure. But I do feel like it'll get better, but I also feel like, it's time to think about other things. I missed this. Oh, that was a big boom. I saw Vicky say, and it was somewhere around here, that she's exclusive to Amazon. The thing that's working well for people on TikTok is not ebooks, it's print books. It's them print books that are selling like crazy. So you can actually, and there's people that are selling a lot of print books on TikTok stores. So something to think about, to explore. We had the thing last week, the Lunch with Mal last week was about that. So totally something you could dig into. And I know a lot of people don't want to deal with print, but I feel like at this point it's something that I need to dip my toes into because I'm seeing how well it's working for some people. And I'm like, I need to get back into this. And Gen Z wants print books. They do not like ebooks. They want to hold the book. So I think it's something that I need to be into. So, all right, folks. Well, I'm gonna jet because I got a call in 5 minutes. So I will see y'all next week. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the group. Um, and I'm not always in the group that much, but Jill and Danica let me know if there's things that I need to help with. So do that, or you can always reach out to me in DMs as well. And we'll see you later. Have a fabulous day.